Which historical developments from the period of historical globalization do you believe is most significant in contributing to the globalization of our world? Language has been a huge impact because it's created the ability to work together and further our development. However, language has also set us back, and it has been a huge contributing factor as when you go to someone who speaks a different language, you can't communicate with them with treaties being signed and stuff like that. They didn't really know what they were signing to and agreeing on, and that shaped everything. Had they understood, things probably would have been different, and had they spoken the same language, the English people probably would not have had such a powerful effect on everyone. They wouldn't have miscommunications all the time. Now, language is not a big thing that's contributing to globalization because there's translators, you can find a way to understand someone if you want to, but at the time, people didn't do that because it was them and them only. So yeah, language isn't that big right now, but it was pretty big. The other really big one is travel and transportation and trade. That's how globalization became globalization. You had to travel places. They still have one of the largest impacts today. Anytime you go on a vacation, anytime you buy something, it's all from somewhere else and you're going somewhere else. And we have all these technologies to help us go to different places and meet new people and for some, conquer new land. The impact that travel has on us is created by the ability to cross seas, go other places, meet new people, find labor in new places, and it's also a huge part of transnational corporations because transportation, wow, go me, I connect words. So yeah, transnational corporations are because we have travel and trade created the triangular trade, which you need travel to do that. And boats travel, find new places, and when you run out of finding new places, go and kill your own people. Transnational corporations are still using that as one of their biggest things because they can go over to other countries now and they can be like, yo, you guys are poor, so I'm going to pay you a little tiny bit because you need to live. That still impacts us today, massively. Also, transportation is a huge contributing factor to some fossil fuels and gas, our cars every day, and planes and boats. It's all also wrecking the environment, as are the factories and stuff that these transnational corporations are using. And yeah, so it's also contributing to climate change, which is a current and newer event in terms of globalization. Travel is important and language is important, but language was more important then and travel is more important now, and travel is the reason everything. What aspect of economic globalization should we be most concerned about? We need to worry about people because we run the world and it sucks. We suck. But at least try to make people good. At least try to make sure that everyone's life is good, or at least provided for, that basic needs are being met. And the fact that it's an aspect that we should be concerned about proves that humans are the biggest concern. We also have to take into account how much our actions impact different things, such as the environment, pretty important, and globalization is destroying it. As soon as our environment goes and we use all the resources that we have no more resources to sustain us, and we continue to kill off and deplete our resources faster than the Earth can supply. Cough, cough, the resource gap. I'm smart here. Cough, cough. I'm mentioning social terms. And also the fact that this resource gap, people aren't always getting. Again, people, bring it back to that. People aren't always getting what they should and what they need to survive. So, people die. So it's not just an over-exaggeration. People are dying because of the impact that we have and how much we're wasting Earth and how much we are taking these people for granted, using transnational corporations to pay them little because they're desperate. and they will do what they have to do to survive, which is shitty. Explain your own personal vision of prosperity. To me, prosperity means to thrive and excel in both personal and environmental factors. So that means your basic needs are being provided for. You are still advancing as a society. You are doing well. The earth as a whole is healthy, and we are only furthering development in a positive way while still taking people's lives into account. Like, prosperity is still taking into account all these people that are working for us and keeping, like, working for yourself, but still having other people work for you and furthering advancement. And, like, I don't think that you can fully further your advancement until you're considering both the people and, like, the economy. Unless you're considering everything, you can't really advance, because yes, you're going to advance in some ways, but you can't advance in all ways. If you are doing all this stuff to labor and you're getting more labor, so you're making more money, but meanwhile these people are dying. After we run out of resources, what are they going to do? They're not going to have any work because all our resources are gone, because we're paying them nothing so that we can take them. So they're going to die. We're not going to have anything. We're going to die because, you know, we suck at providing for ourselves, obviously. But yeah, being prosperous means that everyone does well, and in more ways than just economic ways, in more ways than just money, because eventually there's stuff that's going to run out and you can't replace that stuff versus it's money. Like, does that really mean you're prosperous? Based on your vision, can we be both prosperous and sustainable? Based on my vision? Yeah. So on paper, my version of prosperity needs everyone to be working together and cooperate. But in reality, no one cares enough about others to do the work that would need to be done to achieve this vision of prosperity. For that to happen, we would need a society where everyone is cared for and provided for. But in today's current society, there's a lack of compassion, there's no human decency, and the cooperation that would be required for everyone to, like, oh my god, everyone cooperating. You can't even get like 5 people to cooperate most of the time. Getting like billions of people to cooperate, oh god. Oh. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. My view of prosperity wavers towards communism, because if we are all in a society where we all depend on each other, then we're not going to try to push each other down so we can get to the top, because there is no top. We are all for each other. We are taking care of each other, and if you're not taking care of someone else, then someone's not taking care of you. Yeah. My vision of prosperity wavers towards communism, and most people are against communism because they think it takes away your rights. Wow, being equal. Oh no. Wow, girls get paid the same amount. Whatever will I do? At least right now, in our current society, no one cares enough to try to help each other. And you can't really have a society that is thriving in every way if you aren't helping each other. Based on your lifestyle, what responsibilities do you believe your generation will be asked to fulfill in order to make the world a better place? So, yeah, lots. Starting with the fact that your generation and the generations before basically fucked up the planet, and everyone's gonna die and leave our generations and the generations after to fix the mess. So yeah, not to blame you or anything, I'm just blaming your generation and everyone before and people, because you know, people suck. Also, most other generations, especially the older ones, feel like our generations are ruining everything. But because all these generations before us don't, like, as a whole, think that we actually can do much or do much positive, we're not going to be given the opportunities to make much of a difference. So I think our generation will be asked to do a lot of things. I do think that the biggest thing that we need to worry about, and we'll probably be asked to worry about it and stuff, but I think it's the biggest thing that will become important and will become something that we see the need for is alternative energy. Because, yeah, we're running out of resources. If we want to actually live, might need a way to get more resources. We have to make our environment sustainable. And also, I'm not sure if it'll be my generation, probably not, but generations in the future, I think their focus will be on people. I hope their focus will be on people in developing and underdeveloped countries and bringing the overall quality of life up. Basically, I hope that our generation at least does some good, and we'll probably be asked to do a lot. We probably won't do a whole lot, but I hope eventually stuff is done. Find one quote you think reflects your attitude towards globalization. Explain how this quote gives insight into your perspective. When the last tree is cut, the last fish is caught, and the last river is polluted. When to breathe the air is sickening, you will realize too late that wealth is not in bank accounts and that you can't eat money. I think this quote brings up both the environmental damage we are doing as well as the greed and self-centeredness of people in society. The quote starts with when the last tree is cut. It shows that our doom is seemingly inevitable since we don't even realize the damage we're doing. It then talks about how our resources are gone. The last tree is cut, the last fish is caught, the last river is polluted, stating the damage we've done, considering there's nothing left. And it also says when our resources are gone. Also, it says you will realize. Even though it's used in a quote, which, could be talking to anyone, and it can also be a singular use for it, but it can apply to most people. It brings up realizing the damage that we've done that's too late to reverse, and indirectly says that having money does not make you rich by saying wealth is not in bank accounts. It shows how consumed we are with money and stuff, and then you can't eat money. We consume everything. Not only consume food, but we consume resources, and we can't just consume and consume because then there's nothing left. This money that we use to run the world is money that won't get us anywhere after this irreversible damage is done. This money that runs the world is also the money that ruins the world, that creates greed, that creates competition, which puts other people at disadvantages. This greed for money is what causes us to lose sight of the fact that we're all going to die by using everything the earth has for us, that you can't eat money, because that could be in a literal sense, but figuratively, the amount we consume, and as consumers, the damage that we do as consumers, and just our overall impact. And I think it reflects my view on globalization, because not only does it touch on the fact that we've fucked up our environment, it touches the fact that there are people. It touches the fact of greed. It goes on, you can't eat money. Wealth isn't in bank accounts, because all these views that people have, they're being touched on. And these views are things that set us back and do damage that can be irreversible. And yeah, this quote is very strong, and the more you think about it, the more meanings it can have. But basically, the overall meaning is we're ruining everything, and we need to wake the fuck up. That is what Social 10 has taught me, or not even taught me, but enforced more on me, helped me develop more views on. Yeah. But that's what I learned.